this manifest world, this experience that we are having, is a laboratory, and the deeper we go into it, the more it reveals. The more we think about it, the less it reveals. Because our thinking is contaminated. It has hidden assumptions in it. The core assumption that is hidden in our thinking is that we are lacking, that there is something lacking, and that we can find the fulfillment in the world, body, mind, in relationships, in wealth, in experiences. So in time we come to realize that there is a path which we refer to as the path of the heart. And the path of the heart is a listening, a looking that is fresh, that's arising out of the wholeness, out of the quiet mind. A listening that is completely free of assumptions. A listening that does not know what it is listening to and has no intention, no goal outside of just a pure listening. This listening, as we open ourselves to this not knowing listening, will reveal itself to be effortless, and restful. We like to get a rush out of thinking. And in the thinking that we engage in, we harbor a personal image, an image about ourselves and about others. And we don't realize that this image limits us. And in a way, it also enslaves us. It induces us into maintaining it, into becoming at its service. But as we contemplate just a moment of pure presence, like this very moment of simple, pure being, we find that there is nothing lacking in it, nothing lacking to it. And everything is effortlessly invited into this listening, this presence. Whatever is occurring within the body, sensations and thoughts and vibrations. Arising spontaneously, so spontaneously that there is no time for a story to be formed about them. And as they're arising, they're dissolving. And they're dissolving and they're arising aren't subsequent one to the other. It's as if the arising and the dissolving are simultaneous. And the mind has no time to grasp anything and to formulate a story about it. This may trigger some fears in some when we hear that. Could be due to our habituation to have some kind of thinking about our life, our situation. And we trust the thinking, and we're so habituated to the thinking that when we hear about the possibility of being in such a way of listening that has no time for thought, it is as if we're being robbed of something precious. But even when that arises, this concern, it's possible to see it as just an old download that really can do no harm. Just a download, a thinking and feeling vibration. And the listening space, the aware listening space, cannot be affected or hurt by any download. Like a bird, a flock of birds flies by. They do no harm whatsoever to the space in which they fly. So the contemplation is that of relaxing into presence. Trusting in a way, trusting presence. trusting this not knowing, this openness, this fresh innocence. When we look around us in nature, everything is so bright and clear. There isn't an intention. Maybe we may add on intention with our thinking. But when we are walking on the trail, it's all fresh. As if it's birthing moment by moment. And in this very moment, can we notice this the timelessness of this moment? That is not a result of anything. It's just appearing without anything being hidden. Without any need. It's not calling you to do anything. It's just complete absence. In your complete absence is this appearing, wordless appearance. And of course, the mind we like to make stories and make words about it. But before we download our language onto that, it's just pure presence, peace, the peace of presence. Hello, Rhonda. Rhonda, you write, I awareness, am whole and complete. So whatever the action figure Rhonda does or doesn't do is not relevant to being. The question is what to do when not at work. All chasing activities have fallen off. There is no activity that is needed besides taking care of basic needs. The activities that I enjoy is being in nature and walking. Please comment and share with me, what do you do with your time? I don't think about it. When a thought arises, time to, let's cook some rice. I may or may not cook some rice, depending on whether there are other things other activities that are more important. For example, prepare the schedule for tomorrow for the employees. I don't divide my time. It's just my way of being. Some do. I do what everybody does. I go to work, I help at home, I wash the dishes, I do some shopping sometimes. I have a busy life with work, so I do quite a bit of office work and work in the field. But the main thing is that I'm happy. I'm at peace. Awareness, I'm whole and complete. Yes, awareness is whole and complete. The action figure Randa does or doesn't do is not relevant to being. You know, you could say that the action figure Randa is activated by beyond, like the puppets. You know, the puppeteer controls the puppets. A puppet in the hands of the puppeteer is consciousness. And when you recognize that the puppeteer is running the show, you're no longer competing with the puppeteer. The whole impression of personal controller, you surrender it to God. So you're no longer competing with God about being the personal doer. The question is what to do when not at work. Well, it depends what your interests are and what your situation is. When I'm not at work, sometimes I'm writing some posts, I'm replying to some emails, or I'm answering some questions, or I'm having a conversation with Tara, or I'm helping a little bit in the kitchen. Sometimes we go for a walk, and sometimes we go downtown to go to a cafe, or locally out here. On Saturday, there are friends who come over. We have satsang together here, and we hang out for a while. Sometimes my son comes and visits with us. Sometimes we go visit with him, or so it depends what you do, what your particular life situation is, Randa. So you're right, Randa. You're right. So just tune into a situation that is arising in the moment. Yes, yes, yes. And the main thing is that you are happy. Is that you follow. You celebrate the moment. You're just embracing it all. And Randa, you're right, there is no sense of lack. Yes. And if you notice a sense of lack, you can be open to it, and rather than trying to battle with it, just allow it to be and release it in the space. Meaning, don't try to improve yourself. If you try to improve yourself, you are fortifying the belief and the sense of lack. You are believing that you need improvement. Everything passes. And the sense of lack is usually a reversal to an old pattern, that a thought that arises that I should be better, or things should be better, should be different. Rather than fighting with these thoughts that arise and these sensations that arise, we can just be like the sky, allow them to dissolve in the space. Not to own them, not to personalize them, not to have them, give them your belief. Rather, treat them as guests, but keep the doors and the windows open. As they come in, they go out. Don't try about your daily life to have some idea about how your daily life is. Because, in fact, we don't have a daily life. We live in this moment, this fresh, unknown, not unknowing, not knowing moment, this moment of pure being, where in this moment there is no mind. There's just the purity of presence, the vastness of being, the wholeness of being. It's a silent presence, a silent understanding, the peace within that doesn't have an idea about my daily life. Because in a way, your daily life, it's a story. Yeah. Thank you, great reminders. Sometimes when we are thinking about our life, it's as if we're trying to trump presence. We're trying to bypass presence, the freshness of being. So one could say that awakening is a moment by moment awakening, a moment by moment not knowing, but not knowing as something lacking. Moment by moment, absence, presence. There is a stillness, which is our core of being, is this stillness, which is very beautiful. And we try to fill it all the time with ideas about what we should do, how things should be, what we should have, how our country should be, how our neighbor should behave, etc. And as we're constantly in the activity of thought, we don't get a sense of the peace within. There is a listening space that is a vast emptiness. And this vast emptiness contains everything. Sometimes when we are in nature, we get a sense of that. Or when we sit quietly, we get a sense of that. The peace that you seek does not come from your life, does not come from the world. The peace that is cannot be sought, cannot seek it. It is within, it is the light within that can shine onto the world effortlessly, like the sun shines into infinite space. And when it's not shining, we are in our argumentative mind, in our judgmental mind, self-judging, judging others. But that doesn't matter. We don't need to end there when judgment arises. We can let it be and not define ourselves or define anything by it. Just invite the light of consciousness to dissolve it, to take care of it. Ananda, you write, I wake in the dark cave.
I was starting to write a poem, and I accidentally. This is a different text.
Oh, okay.
But the poem goes something like, I wake in the dark cave, aware of the presence of others around me still asleep. And I sense the door. It's kind of like Plato's cave, I sense the door. I sense the opening. I get up and I walk carefully over the bodies of those still sleeping to not disturb them. And I've been having a feeling a little bit like, once I'm really not at effect of other people's opinions, or somebody else gets mad, that means they're mad, but yet they're me also.
Ananda, hold that thought. I just want to comment about the poem before we go, a little further from what I heard from your poem.
Yes.
Now, I wake in the dark cave with sleeping people around me.
Yes.
Now, there is no such a thing as awaking in the dark cave.
Okay. That's why, I
Because
guess, why I'm asking.
awaking is a moment of light, a moment of being. It's as if using the metaphor of your poem, it's being out of the cave, not being in the cave.
Right.
So awaking is not in the cave, so you do not wake in the cave. Wakefulness is our natural state, our natural being is wakefulness, transparency, beingness. But it's not in a cave. There is no cave in the wakefulness. And so therefore, given there is no cave because you're the light, then there are no others around you that are sleeping. Because in the light, there is no darkness. You follow?
Yes.
So if you are perceiving others around you that are sleeping, you are sleeping as well.
So part B of the question then is, when there's someone in the space who's, upset or under the influence of some kind of idea, which, and I'm not really considering them as separate from myself. It seems like it's a peculiar thing going on. It's a peculiar gestalt or something. That here's an expression, sometimes it seems almost like a cartoon or something is being witnessed, and yet there's a person, at some level there's a person there with their whole interior life going on.
So what is the problem?
Probably just to hear the question, what's the problem, or the questioning of is that in any way a problem? It seems like that's why I used that's why I was going to that poem. I don't remember where I came across that poem, but it seems like beings asleep in some kind of distress. Where's the problem?
Well, the problem is in believing that there are beings asleep and in distress. Because when you believe there are beings that are asleep and in distress, you also are a being now, supposedly in less distress for now. But being that you are a being, meaning a human being, your distress is latent. Maybe it's not manifesting right now, but the barrel is full of gunpowder. It's there. So maybe you could say that is the problem. That in considering that there are awakened or non-awakened beings is a mental belief structure. One could say that ignorance of our true nature, meaning not being fully present, not being the presence, not realizing that I am the presence. and rather substituting that with the thought I am this particular person with
like
Isaac, I'll come to that in just a minute, okay? So when you consider yourself, rather than just being this pure transparent beingness, to be a particular human being, a good human being, an enlightened human being, or a non-enlightened human being, you are spinning a story, and in this spinning story you are trying to manage your life and the life of others, helping them or whatever, but it's all a spin. You get a sense of that? You follow?
And what you said earlier in your little talk about listening, it's from a space of not kind of hands off in a way. It's like let it all happen and something.
It's embracing it all, meaning not thinking about things, about your life, about others, in this moment of presence, because really that there is no other moment, there is no other, whatever you call it, no other reality, but this reality. And this reality, you cannot name it, you cannot put a word on it, because it has no time. Thinking requires time. Labeling requires time. You see? Okay, Lawrence. Thank you, Lawrence. You don't have that time element in presence. So there is no thought about yourself and about others. Thought about yourself and about others is some sort of story about me in time and others in time, and improving and not improving, etc. And we all experience these thoughts, but the invitation is to for a moment between two thoughts, just to be, just to recognize this between thoughts, this and the space in which thoughts aren't really the main show. The main show is just the space, the spaciousness. So you don't have to battle to find the space between two thoughts. The space itself can allow the thoughts to be, and is the space, the presence, that is what is fascinating, what is vibrating, and not the thinking about being awake and others being asleep. Why concern yourself about that? There isn't a need for such concerns. Of course.
Oh, well, that's what makes you so appealing. You're not doing that.
Yes, and
as a mentor or whatever.
Now, on the other hand, out of the unknown, an opportunity may arise where there is an availability to interact with somebody around this presence, and to sort of shine the light of presence and even point to it, whichever. It's just to be as presence, is sufficient. Is sufficient.
Mm.
It doesn't need to really be explained. Sometimes a poem may arise, sometimes a laughter may arise, sometimes a loving gesture may arise, and sometimes some words may arise pointing to something that you're experiencing. Yes. But mostly it's just your inner peace, your inner contemplation, that is the perfume, the juice that has that healing.
Beautiful. Like love.
Yes, it is love. It is love. It is love. Love is not divided. It's not thought. Thought very often divides, but love is not divided, and so it's not the thought. It's not the thinking. It's something else.
No, I'm not following. You mean it's not thought that knows the love or delivers the love?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Thought is more divides, points to this, not that, or that, not this. And of course, the main thought, the thought about me, how am I doing? Is it going to happen to me tomorrow? And am I being loved? Am I being helpful? Am I impressing people? I'm hoping and regretting. All these thoughts are separative thoughts. They're separating you, and you from yourself, you from the self, you from the peace of being, you from others. That's a complication. It's a complication. We believe that, okay, this is helpful, but what's really helpful is the love, is the peace. And it's not me loving you. It is the love, just the love that has no ownership, that owns itself. It doesn't have a personal owner or personal manager or personal doer.
Yes, so I see the point you started with. It's in a field of light, pure light, awakeness. It's not in a dark cave. It's that sort of pathos or story may actually kind of show up. I mean, you could be walking through the poor part of town or something and seeing stuff around, but that has nothing to do with the awake property, the property of the intrinsic property of awakeness. So it may be even pathetic in a sense to see people in the gutter or something, but it doesn't. If it doesn't affect love, if it doesn't create a sense of separation, then it's not a problem, I guess.
You can experience somebody who is in need, and you can feel compassion for them, and maybe help them at that moment in arising out of the freshness of the moment. But that's not a story. That's just living at the edge, living in the spontaneity of being, the qualities of love and compassion arise spontaneously. And this does not mean that that's what we will do. We may just have some empathy in our heart for that situation, and we may just be moving to a different direction, and just. But that it's not about fixing the world or acting in a certain way. You don't know. We don't know ahead of time. It's not. There aren't like principles of that's how to live, how to act. You don't know, but is it possible, like in the moment, which is this moment, to be just presence, to be the presence that is, and not to be thinking about how one should be or one should not be. We don't know. Just to be the presence of being.
Great.
Okay, Ananda?
Thanks. Beautiful.
Yes, Ananda. Let me see. Just check one thing. Okay, Isaac. Let me see. One moment. So Isaac writes. Let me see if I can paste it. Isaac, you say, after many years doing the world homework, now laziness has taken the old place. Well, if we are doing any homework, I would suggest pure presence, just being, not knowing. Because in this moment of not knowing, you cannot be a man or a woman, or you cannot be engaged in some thinking about yourself and how things should be and how things should not be. Thank you, Happy. So this would be an interesting homework if you like homework. And what's very lovely is that we don't need to know. Knowing sometimes is a burden. We don't need to know. We can know in that very moment what to do or not to do. And what may be helpful is to notice how the images that we have about ourselves and about others, they derail our spontaneity. It's as if we have to act in a certain way or say certain things in order to be liked, in order to impress, in order to show that we have improved, etc. Just to notice that within yourself, noticing these internal images and these internal repetitive thoughts about ourselves is important to notice them, so they don't stay in the shadow running the show. They don't stay behind the stage running the show. You bring them right onto the stage so you can see them. Aha, This is what I'm interested in. This is what I'd like to do. I want people to applaud me. I want to be the one that is chosen, etc. And then to notice how ineffective this line of thinking is. It's not only it's unhappy because you're assuming there is some lack to you and that you have to work at something or others have to work on your behalf. But also it doesn't work. It just keeps downloading the same thing in with different colors, different shades, different shapes, but the same download. So laziness is always in opposition with non-laziness, whatever that word is. Now, when I'm talking about presence, I'm not talking about laziness. When I'm talking about stillness, I'm not talking about laziness. I'm talking about not knowing. In this moment, it could be just doing nothing, or you may find yourself getting up, getting in your car and going down to the market to do certain tasks that maybe nobody else wants to do. It just arose to you that, okay, I'll do it. Nobody wants to go to pick up these supplies. I'll go. It arises out of this moment of presence. So it may not at all enthusiasm. So this enthusiasm may arise, or you may decide, well, no, I'm okay. I'm just gonna sit and relax and enjoying just relaxing now. But it's not laziness. That's the point I wanted to make. Laziness is always in opposition to non-laziness. But this action that arises out of presence, or the non-action that arises out of presence, has no opposition, no opposite. It's just pure, spontaneous manifestation that's arising out of pure presence, and that is imbued with the presence, with the peace of presence. So I hope I got the gist of your question, Isaac. Otherwise, please, you can write it here, or we can talk. Yes, Isaac. Just wanted to, let me see. Just want to make sure that I addressed your question, or did I? Okay, Isaac. So there is a question that was written on the YouTube. Okay, Isaac. YouTube chat question, and the question is: if my true state of being is eternal bliss, what is the point of this life? Yes, it's a very good question. The point of this life, one could say, is to realize that your true nature is eternal bliss. Although one could say that my true nature, or our true nature, just pure true nature, is universal and is bliss, Satchitananda. Although that is the case, we are ignorant of that. And this life, what we refer to as this life, is your opportunity to realize that, to awaken from the dream, meaning to awaken from the belief that life is a struggle and life is about marrying and having children and having a great job and a great home and cars and God knows what, or that life is about peace between nations, or life is about developing technology, etc. No. Life, the purpose of this life, as you ask, the point of this life is to realize, and not just to hear it like you're hearing it now, or like maybe you read it, or you know it, that your true nature, or true nature is eternal bliss. It's not enough to hear that, or to read that, or to understand it superficially. No, you have to realize that. So there is a you could say a path, or many paths to that realization. In some of the cultures, they refer to endless lifetimes to come to this realization, but right now I don't feel like talking this way. I'm thinking that since you are raising this question, that means you are ready to dive into it. So get to it. Remain with that question. What is the point of this life is a good question. The point of this life is not a personal, there is no personal point to this life. The point of this life is the realization of the self, is the realization of peace, is to awaken from the dream of separation. Now, this does not mean that you're going to go now say, think of, oh, I'm not awake from the dream, other are, and I'm not, and start to beat yourself on the head because of that. No. Just open yourself up to the grace. Come to presence. Presence is your true nature. The peace and the bliss of the self is your true nature. Come to it. It is not something that you have to do something magical to achieve it or to realize it. I'm talking about your true nature, what you are, the reality that hears these words right now, your very being right now. If you're listening right now, what is it that is listening? Is it not your very being? Is it not true nature? It's true nature that perceives, that hears, that is. And true nature is not something that grows with age, that gets tired. The body does. But I, true nature, I, consciousness, I have no size, no shape, no age, no sex, no gender, no density. Contemplate the reality of your experience. That will take you to true nature. Contemplate the infinite invisible, that you do not perceive. That will take you to true nature. Contemplate the reality of the contemplator. That will take you to true nature. Allow whatever thoughts that arise to just be. Don't try to fix them. Don't try to improve yourself. Don't try to get a better personal situation or better personhood. Give that to God. Allow God to shine the light on that and to take care of that. Everything that comes to you in the waking dream comes from God. such as gravity, such as the weather, such as the breath. All of that comes to you from beyond. So, concerning the world, body, mind, just do what is needed, what is required, while remaining with the peace, remaining as the peace. The peace does not come to you from worldly situations. The peace is from within, and it shines onto the world. You bring it into the world. You don't get it from the world. You shine it onto the world. You are the peace. But when you are caught up in your thoughts about you, what I should have, what I don't have, what he has, what she has, how come he did this to me, how come I did that, then you are saying no to the peace and you are saying yes to the thinking about me. And when you are saying yes to the thinking about me and her and him, my past, my future, you are inviting in your space the confusion and the turmoil and the belief in lack. And so the peace that is within you has no room to express itself because you're not interested in it. Be interested in the peace within and to bring the peace forth in your life and to live the peace in your life. And contemplate that what I truly am is infinite and invisible. The self, infinite, invisible. These contemplations will bring you to your true answer, because words that I'm saying don't mean nothing, they're just words. But your contemplation will take you firsthand to the answer of your question, what is the point of this life? Then you will know for yourself, and that question will be answered for good. Yes, Ananda.
Well, I'm wondering about something. I find I'm kind of looking for the perfect partner. Mm-hmm. And I know you said at one point, you don't look for somebody, more or less. People show up, like everything shows up in your life, and so maybe look in the terms of what we've been talking about today. The tenor of today's satsang is kind of like that whole looking for the right situation. It's kind of a little bit like a job search. Find the right fit, find the right. But to take the story, to de-emphasize the story aspect of it, and emphasize that whatever's meant to happen is an expression of presence rather than something manipulated or even discovered by the mind. Does that make sense?
There is no perfect partner.
Because that would be trying to export the self into this the dream, wouldn't it?
Yes. Because to the perfect partner, there is the imperfect partner. There is the perfect, the imperfect.
Mm.
So you're in that realm of distinctions.
Mm-hmm.
Every partner that you have is the perfect partner, but there is no perfect partner. The partner that you have is a partner with whom you can, through whom, with whom, by whom you can grow, you can come to peace. And the peace may be to leave them, or the peace may be to be with them, to explore with them, or the peace may be to bear them.
Mm-hmm.
As long as in this world you're having relationships that have good and bad and good and better, it calls your attention. It's calling your attention to notice places where you are judging, preferring, condemning, avoiding, suppressing, pursuing, imagining.
Mm-hmm.
And when your life is harmonious in the relationship, you will find there is just peace, there is openness. Maybe there are some things that don't feel so good, but you are able to just be at peace with them, and they don't take you on a spin, and they don't last too long. And somehow you're able to bring the peace to them by your presence, and not by your argumentation and your thinking and your judging and your arguing. You're able to bring in the peace, which is the peace within yourself. The peace with yourself comes into the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And because you love the peace within yourself, and you're contemplating, and you have found a way to be that peace, then it will shine in the relationship, and the relationship will be a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But the partner you're with right now is the perfect partner.
Mm.
And being with your partner is this moment of being right now. It is being right now. Right now is a moment of being with your partner. This very moment you are with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
How am I with my partner this very moment?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to be not knowing, to be
Mm-hmm.
this empty presence?
Mm-hmm.
And in this empty presence, I can't even say I am with my partner or not with my partner.
It's like
So
a supportiveness, like a supportiveness of for who they are, for for who everyone is really, but like a supportiveness that's not even, it's not listed out, you know, take out the garbage.
we bring to who they are, we bring what I am.
Mm-hmm.
So they are what I'm bringing. And what am I bringing? Am I bringing my past, my knowledge, my opinions, my ideas?
Mm-hmm.
Am I bringing my intention for them to be this way, to be that way? Am I bringing, they are sleeping, I need to wake them up, I need to help them? Am I bringing, I wonder how good they're going to be in the kitchen, how good they're going to be in life, how good they're going to be in the bedroom, how good they're going to be in discussions, how good they're going to be when we go out for a walk in nature? What am I bringing this moment? In this moment, what am I bringing? Is who they are, is who I am. What I am, what they are is. And best is to bring the truth. And the truth is not some idea, something I believe. The truth is pure being, the reality of awareness, the reality of consciousness, this openness, the not knowing. The truth is not knowing. Knowing oneself is peace. It's not some great dissertation about the self.
Right. It's beautiful that I get that. Yeah. I hear that. There's a mental component to this, like I guess that's the word, mental component, but it's like the feeling that to share the love of self nature, is just so, not to make it into another category, mental category that,
Right. Yes.
But
Yes.
But that's really what's behind it.
The sharing of our true nature, the sharing of our love for truth is contagious. It's contagious. So we don't try to share it. It's like you're infected with happiness and peace, and you are in the space, in the room, and then others slowly, without noticing, they start getting infected with the happiness and the peace. It's a silent infection. They get infected. But of course, you have to be yourself, that happiness and that peace. And then the infection, happens of itself. You can call it sharing, but so it's not a sharing where you're coming from some thought about sharing. True sharing comes through you. You could say that's as if God is speaking through you, or God is downloading through you, or God is shining the light through you, which is God's light. It's not a personal light. So you're like a prism, and the light shines through the prism, and then it diffracts in the colors of the diffracted colors of the light, the light of God.
And then there's a beautiful mystery, the light is shining and a beautiful blue is coming out, and it shines on somebody who loves blue.
Absolutely. Then all of life becomes so magical. It really is magical. You don't know how God's light is shining and what it's doing, but you could see all around you. It's just happiness, it's beauty and love, and you will find beauty in the world, and you will find friendship and love in people's hearts. And you're not trying for it. You're not working on towards it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you will find life situation, work situation will just start to open up for you. The abundance,
Mm-hmm.
God's wealth, God's bounty.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like there saying, wow, that's really amazing. It's really, it really, that is indeed how it is.
Mm-hmm.
This whole idea of human doership, it's just, that was an old myth.
Mm. Wow.
It really is that way. You have to live it, and it will you will not miss the harvest. You
Mm-hmm.
will see for yourself. It is magical. I mean, look at the blooming of a flower.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or look at how the birds protect their eggs and prepare their nest, and lay their eggs and protect the eggs of their chicks.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, all of that.
Right. It's a full-on
Yes.
full-on expression right from.
Yes. And how the squirrels, they bury in the fall, they bury all these seeds in different places, and then in the winter they go fetch them.
Okay. They remember 7,000 locations.
Yes. Isn't it amazing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so this, and I guess this fullness or completion, whatever, the life unfolding the way you're describing, is not predicated on any particular event, like finding a particular person, for example. That's just part of the unfolding. Can't be linked
Yes.
to that, you know.
No, that may happen downstream of living as presence. Because when you are living as presence in this moment of this fresh moment, you're not carrying a story about yourself and others. You're free from stories about yourself and others. And whenever something downloads, you just allow it to be. You're not really so concerned or defined by it. But you recognize it. You have to be sincere with yourself, not to be hiding things behind the carpet, not to sweeping the dust behind the carpet. And when you are living that way, it's very beautiful. Others feel comfortable with you. They don't, I mean, naturally, they don't feel judged. So they may judge you, but you're not concerned about your judgments of them. So their judgments become obsolete to them because they're not getting any response. So in time, you will find that people around you are happy to be around you, and this whole idea about where is my perfect partner, that's how can you be fully at ease and peace with your friends when you have this idea, where is my perfect partner? You're sifting and scoring them. You have a scorecard.
Something's big is missing, you know, so you guys are all second rate.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. And allow the magic to arise in your space, in your life. to surprise you, to allow it. But you cannot allow it when you are holding these beliefs, and these anticipations and these judgment cards. When you're doing that, you're not being sincere in allowing the mystery. You're telling, yes, mystery, I'm allowing you, I'm inviting you, but at the same time, I have my score, I will show you the red book later, That's not, it won't work that way. To really let go of all the stuff that you're holding on to, because when you let go, you find so much is available to you in this moment of presence. You're clearing the space in a way. You're willing and ready to be astounded and surprised and by whatever is unfolding. And you're not carrying any past ideas and images. Oh, I've seen that before. This is happening again.
Right.
All these are some form of resistance.
Like I shouldn't have given her my credit card number.
Yes.
That's just a funny one. Well, that's beautiful. It's it's beautiful. I think I just got the real hookup in my understanding that this complete flowering of presence doesn't involve any of the ideas being, any of the storyline things coming about.
Yeah.
It could be.
Well, yeah. You don't need a storyline for being. You don't need a storyline to say hello to somebody freshly. You need a storyline to sell something or to market something or to...
Yeah. Market poor me to the Savior.
We're constantly marketing poor me to ourselves. No wonder there is depression.
Well, thanks. Just beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, Ananda, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for your lovely company, your friendship. And we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you, everybody.